Hello, everybody. I know people are just getting in here, and I know people are still kind of over at Bree's stream because we are overlapping a little bit so that she can join in over here later on. So I don't think there's any super big issues with the noise. Welcome to the chat. We have Calacia, we have Arpy. Welcome, welcome in here. It's going to be a bit of a journey today. We're gonna kind of go back in time and review previous content. Oh, we got Math Pig here. Welcome, welcome. As you can all see, it is Pride Month, and we are wearing a Pride Golden Girls shirt today. But we do have a poll in the side chat. If you'll like to answer that, there are a couple things that we can decide. We got so we can react to. I couldn't find the the saved stream from the first ever call-in show, so I apologize deeply for that, because that was on the hang up, but the second one ever was on the perspective, which was Ethan's show. I wish he was still doing it, but he's got a lot of life stuff going on and isn't having that show anymore. But we can react to the perspective, and we can also go back and rewatch the celery juice challenge that we did. How long ago was that? That was about 2 years ago, it said. So I remember that being not so great challenge. But welcome to the chat, Kyle. I did, if we do watch the celery juice video, I got some celery juice. It's green, so it looks kind of like the void at the moment. But I have the celery juice, and I also have this really gross looking, it's going to be in the void too because it's also green. This pineapple orange detox juice shot with spirulina and kiwi fruit. It is a probiotic. It's a woman-owned corporation. I do like that. But it does have the non-GMO project verified, which we don't like that label. But some other facts about this: it is 100% juice plus functional ingredients. I don't think y'all can see that. Welcome, Secularity and Joe Cool. Welcome. We're talking about my detox shot that I'm about to do in celebration of this. So it is a very gross swampy green color, which means like the swampier it looks, the better it is for you, is what I hear. So, but it is serving size is 1 bottle, 30 calories per serving, 0 fat, 25 milligrams of sodium, 7 carbs, 5 grams of just naturally occurring sugars in the pineapple and the orange, 0 protein. It's made of organic pineapple juice, organic orange juice, organic kiwi fruit powder, organic spirulina, and Bacillus coagulans probiotics. So we have some bacteria in here. Yeah, and it's made in Minnesota. So that's what we have. It looks very swampy. Like, it's hard to tell, but you can see that it looks swampy, but there's little flecks. There's little flecks in it that look kind of nasty. And then we have our celery juice here in this container. So this is 100% juice, cold pressed celery lemon juice, which is apparently what you're supposed to do. Put some lemon in it. It is USDA organic, 1.5 servings of vegetables and fruits. Nice. It has 50 calories per bottle. It's got 280 milligrams of sodium, 0.5 grams of total fat, 11 grams of carbs, 5 grams of total sugars, no added sugars, 2 grams. This one has 2 grams of protein. Incredible. We're getting our protein today, folks. It also has calcium, iron, potassium, vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin E, vitamin K, thiamine, riboflavin, vitamin B6, and phosphorus. So if you were reading this, you would say, if those were included in the ingredients list, people would freak out. But since it's not in the ingredients list and it just says the vitamins, people aren't scared of it. But for some reason, if you can't pronounce riboflavin, that's still fine. Love the organic community, but it has organic celery juice and organic lemon juice, and that is it. And shake well because settling is natural. I feel like that's a dig at me. Settling is natural. Anyway, it also says straight up celery juice with a zing. A clean and simple celery juice made with cold pressed organic celery and a squeeze of lemon. No preservatives, no added flavors, no added sugar. Hey, thank you for becoming a channel member, BB. Welcome. And Breeze here as well. We're going over to this celery juice that I have. So it says no added sugar, but it's got like 2 stars next to it, and then it says not a low calorie food. So there you go. Not a low calorie food, folks. But yes, the welcome Hive Raid. Welcome here. The Hive doth arrive. Make sure you vote in the side poll, because that's going to tell us what we're going to react to first. It is either going to be the Colin show with Secular Rarity on the perspective, or it's going to be celery juice challenge. We might even just react to the celery juice first, just because it's an unforgettable moment. But I do need to huzzah to the tipper. I know that's usually a Twitch thing, but we got a new channel member, so I'm gonna play. Oh, and we got another. We got a subscriber. Thank you for the sub, Anarchic Fox. Welcome to whatever this group is. But I will play the Huzzah to the Tipper. If you want to see more Huzzah to the Tipper, you got to go over to Twitch, because that's more of a Twitch thing. Huzzah to the Tipper. All right, and for our Huzzah, we are going to do my detox shot. So this should cleanse everything from my body. I'm really scared for this. Okay, it smells just like pineapple juice, but it looks very swampy. So here we go. Huzzah to the tipper. Okay, that was not as bad as I was expecting. It just tastes like pineapple juice. Very swampy pineapple juice. But the other thing too about this, so it was really mostly just pineapple juice and probiotics. This little shot of juice cost like $3, like between $3 and $4, which is insane. Like I could get a whole tub of a whole bottle of pineapple juice for like the same price. So why would I do this? This is definitely a marketing scam. Because I mean, the spirulina is going to have like some good vitamins and stuff, but I can get the same benefit from eating a salad and drinking some pineapple juice. Yeah, from a doctor licensed in the US. Yeah, thanks, Maya. I got that verified recently. But as a doctor licensed in the US, this is a marketing scam. It tastes fine. Just buy some juice. Just drink some juice, eat a salad. You'll get probably the same benefits. Like if you want the probiotics, eat a yogurt or something. It's going to be a lot cheaper. That being said, let us get into... It sounds like people want the celery juice video first, so we're going to pull that up. Here we go. You don't need to watch the whole intro. Oh yeah, so there was the actual medical myths video that I did with Jordan about the celery juice thing, and then that's when I decided to do the challenge. So here we go. My dorky little intro back when I was a med student.
Celery juice. It's a miracle turnaround for all kinds of conditions.
I've never even seen celery juice.
16 ounces of straight celery juice can change somebody's life.
Which hold on. So reacting to this part though, so the celery juice that I had never looked that like neon green. Like they added something else to that, because look at this. This is like I mean the color is not great with the green screen, but it's more yellow. Like it's a more brown yellow with like a green tint. then you're not going to get a celery juice, at least not a pure, like freshly squeezed celery juice that looks that green. That is unrealistic. So they already lost us with this one. But I know I'm not supposed to be reacting to the original video, but I will add some more comments here and there of things that we missed. But
of straight celery juice
it's
can
just funny.
change somebody's
I didn't
life.
notice that.
Can you mix it with other
You
stuff
what?
and it still has the same potency?
No,
Or no.
do it alone.
Do it alone.
Do it alone.
Well, first
Okay,
of
well
all,
I fucked up here because you're supposed to do it alone, and this one has lemon juice in it. So I guess, you know, huzzah to the celery juice. I guess I have to drink this now. Yeah, I mean, it has a lot of celery pulp. I still don't know if the celery pulp is going to be that vibrantly green. I feel like they've added some spinach or something, like probably some food coloring. I would guess that that's just food coloring added to it, but I could be wrong. But yeah, this celery juice, it smells very celery-y. It smells nasty. I remember doing this the last time. You know, I'm gonna wait to actually drink this and for when I drink it on the show.
it looks gross as hell. just to start with, it looks disgusting. And like celery is the worst of all vegetables anyway. So I don't know why making it a juice would make it any better. But you can immediately tell that the claim you're getting is nonsense. If they just rattle, like it'll cure everything from acne to AIDS to cancer to like everything. It'll
cure your
all that
AIDS
ails
with
you, you know,
celery
it's like
juice.
the snake oil
Absolutely.
salesman in a Western.
So we are about
Don't
to go
click
into Sprouts to get some celery juice for the celery juice detox. And I'm wearing my Medical Myths hoodie. So a little bit out of place, but
Oh yeah,
here we go. I
I
guess
wore
we're
my own
doing
merch
this.
into the whole. Oh, I went to Sprouts. Not Whole Foods. I wanted cheaper celery juice than what they had at Whole Foods. Look at that. That was so nasty.
I got the celery juice, and unfortunately, there's
Vlog
only
style
one
video.
brand that they
Super
sell
cheesy.
at this store, and it's $12 for a 32-ounce bottle. So that'll last me about 4 days on this juice cleanse. So if you want to see
Oh yeah, because the
more,
cleanse was you had to
ridiculous
drink like 32
diet
ounces of
challenges,
celery juice a
you
day
can join
or
my
something like
Patreon
that.
or become a channel member, and those funds will apparently go directly towards making me suffer in the name of science. So there you go. There's some incentive.
Disclaimer
if you aren't
now,
already
any funds that go to my channel now are not going to buy celery juice. Like, sorry to break it to y'all, but I'm not doing that again. This is the last time that I will be consuming celery juice on this channel, hopefully.
patron or channel member, you can cause me more pain and suffering through your donations.
This is back when I hated myself.
Well, I've got some good news for the audience today, and this is a little bit chilly for me in the future, but I'm gonna do the celery juice cleanse.
And welcome,
this week. And
Creation
in
Myths.
fact,
Welcome.
I went out before this episode and I bought some celery juice. It's expensive. It's very expensive. It's like, well, I mean, I guess he recommends that you juice it yourself, but I'm not buying a juicer just for these weird cleanses. So I went out and I bought some celery juice for $12 a bottle,
Insane.
and it's a 32 ounce
I
bottle.
bet
You're
with
supposed to
tariffs,
drink
that celery
16
juice price
ounces
is going to be
a day,
skyrocketing.
and it's going to change your life.
I
So,
forgot how much I paid
challenge
for this one, but I bet at
accepted,
Sprouts it's still going to be
Anthony
very,
William.
very expensive.
I'm going to do the celery juice cleanse, and I have right here
my margarita
16
glass full of
ounces
swamp water
of celery juice in this giant
so gross.
margarita glass. And we're going to drink it live
Nasty.
on this stream. So if you'd like
Nasty.
a little review, I think we don't need to watch the rest of this video because he just goes on about
Celery juice is the
the rest
best.
of his cleanse.
Thank
We
you, John.
We might
Thank
come
you.
back to another video of his though. But
I saw the celery juice backstage beforehand, and when you put it up, I still like almost gagged just looking at it.
Yeah, it looks so nasty.
it smells like grass. So I'm willing to bet it's gonna also taste like grass, but I will
Yeah.
update you. Let's do the taste test here.
Hold on. We got to do this the right way. We got to do this the right way, my friends. Huzzah.
Huzzah to the tipper!
Huzzah. We're going to do this together, younger me.
It tastes like grass.
It tastes
That
as
is
bad as I
accurate.
remember.
I mean, it
it.
tastes like celery,
Well, that's a
like
that's
celery
a
and grass.
confirmed
Yeah.
confirmed prediction right there. Gold.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Ben and the weird liquid. Yeah. So we're gonna
Thank
drink
you,
this.
Reggie. Thank you so much. That is incredibly generous. Wow. Thank you so much. We got a lot of gift subs that just went out because Reggie's amazing. We love having you around and supporting and out on our downing more celery juice. In that case, I will chug more of this bottle. Hold on. We'll make myself big. Here we go. Okay, can't do more than that right now. We'll wait a little bit before we get back into that. Maybe near the end of the show we'll drink more of that. But yeah, it tastes like grass. The lemon, I guess, makes it a little bit more tolerable and like less grassy. But it still just tastes like celery. And I like celery. But like I would want the celery flavor in chicken broth, not like this. Yeah, it looks so gross. It looks like swamp water. And it kind of tastes like swamp water too. So
I'm doing my cleanse, and then at the end of this, I'm gonna do a medical myths all about celery.
yeah, the green screen
juice,
makes it even worse
and
too.
it's gonna be a great time. So in the
Wouldn't
meantime,
recommend
I'm gonna
chugging
keep
the bottle.
drinking this nasty ass
Yeah.
celery juice while we discuss the medical medium and his website.
Oh yeah, and then I do one. Yeah, so that's what it looks like without the green screen. Still just very swampy. Can't believe I did that for views. Things that I do for views. Yeah. It's back in Arizona. My face,
It's so
though.
much worse the longer you take to drink it.
That was not a good time.
I hate this. I really hate this. This is not making my life better. This is making my life worse. Like when they said that this would
Okay, hold on though. You literally asked for this, younger me. You're like, hey, give me this the channel member money and the Patreon money and super chat money, and I will make my life worse by drinking the celery juice. Like, you literally asked for it. You can't be that mad. Anyway, I will keep judging my older self.
change your
Or my
life,
younger self.
it changed it. I did not need this in my life at all. I didn't need it. I didn't need it.
But yeah, did it cure me of anything? No, it did not. So gross. It's worse watching it almost. It's almost worse watching this again.
This is day 3 of the celery juice cleanse. I only have one more day after this because I'm not buying another bottle of $12 celery juice, but here you go. We're about to do this again, and I hate everything.
It made a great laxative though. Like if you want something to make you poop, like it does work for that. It does work pretty well for that.
This is so terrible. Like, okay. So do I feel any different from the past couple of days that I've done this? Not really. Not really. I expected this to have kind of a laxative effect, and I might be wrong on that. I mean, it might take longer than these few days to really have that laxative effect, but I've actually noticed like a little bit different of an effect, like the opposite effect. And
I did forget about that much.
I don't quite know why. It's not.
Yeah, I do think it's
likely
because it was
related to
only
any
the
other part of
3
my diet
days.
because I haven't changed any other aspects of my diet except for this. But this
But, like,
isn't pleasant.
even that much
it is
volume would.
not made any bathroom situations more pleasurable. So kind
Welcome,
of my
High
predictions
Inquisitor.
on what was
Thank
going
you
to
for joining
happen
us,
with the
in
celery
this
juice haven't.
review of my
I
bowel
don't feel more
habits from
hydrated.
2 years ago.
Don't feel like this has changed my life in any significantly beneficial way or even any way at all. I guess I have to drink it because I promised that to all of you, but
Yeah, you did.
I'm not
promise.
really
You have
seeing
to
the
do it.
benefit. Maybe I need to go longer than these 4 days. Maybe I need to do a full month of this, but if any of you want to see me do a whole month of celery
No.
juice,
Absolutely not.
you can go to Patreon, you
Nope,
can
nope,
request
nope,
it,
nope, nope,
become a channel member, and you can
Nope.
request it. But
You can request
otherwise,
it, but I'm not
I
gonna
can't
do it.
really afford to keep
You can request it, but
buying this
I
garbage.
will not
Oh, look,
be.
the
I will
cops
not
are
be doing
coming.
that. No.
Sounds like they're here to arrest me for my celery juice blasphemy.
And that volume of celery juice at one time is
This just, it gets so much worse.
it's bad.
I could see this being like kind of enjoyable in like a Bloody Mary or something, or like a soup. I don't know, like something that you put celery into. But I'm not enjoying just the drinking my celery. At least if I'm gonna have celery, I'm gonna have it mixed in with something else, or like even have it in its.
Let me know in the
crunchy
side chat though.
form,
Should I
'cause this is
do
not pleasure.
other?
It's not pleasurable
Hey
at-
Neil, what's
at all.
up?
I hate
Should
this.
I do other vlog style videos with health myths, like superfood things or whatever? Should I do people
There you
like
go.
this type of content?
Done.
Should I do more? Thanks Neil. Thank you so much. I'm glad to see you here. I've been drinking
It's
celery
that time
juice
again.
on the stream
It
because
is
I hate
day
myself.
4 of the celery juice cleanse, and this is the last day. I'm not buying any more of this garbage. But here we go. It's the
I just
last
look so
day, and this
life.
looks muddier than the last day. I know
Reggie
this
just
is the
became a channel
bottom of the
member.
jar.
Huzzah!
I did shake it both times.
Hold on.
but
Okay,
this,
we
for
have
some
to
reason,
do
looks
this.
cloudier.
now.
So
Hold on, I gotta do the huzzah. Actually, you know what I need to play too? For the celery. Oh, hold on. I'll do this one and
Huzzah to the tipper!
but I realized I should have been playing the other video that I made that works perfectly for celery juice.
KO.
That's what this is. That's what this is. I'll do another little bit for Reggie. Huzzah. It does get worse every time you go back for more. Like the first couple times it wasn't that bad. But the more you drink of it, just the worse it gets. Yikes. I hated that. Okay. Oh yeah, I'm sad that the Twitch streams conflict with their work schedule. Yeah, I moved them earlier in the day, except for trivia night. So I hope to see all of you over there on Twitch more often as well.
here you go. Here you go, YouTube.
Oh, you know, like kale. Yeah, you gotta add flavor. Yeah, I mean, there's lemon in this, but it's supposed to be a juice cleanse, and it's nasty.
I keep saying that I'm a human trash can and that I'll eat anything. This is nasty. This is absolutely nasty. So will I do it? Yeah. Will I enjoy it?
Use lime Kool-Aid.
Absolutely not. Maybe.
That's the lime Kool-Aid is probably
Maybe
what
we
they
need to
did
do
to
a
make the
challenge
celery
on,
juice like look vibrantly green
transatlantic.
in
Where
the
the punishment is drinking
the
celery
video
juice because
we did this based on.
this is absolutely nasty.
Yeah, having to drink two margarita glasses of that per day. Was so
Done. We
gross.
did it. 4 days. So yesterday was the last day of the celery juice cleanse because there's no way that I'm going to spend $12 for 2 days worth of the celery juice. That's absolutely ridiculous.
Welcome,
I could go out and
Infidel.
buy
Welcome.
a
This is
juicer
the type of content
and
you've been looking
just
for.
juice the celery myself.
But reacting
Who's
to
got time for that? I don't need a
to celery
juicer
juice.
just to do stupid food challenges. But maybe in the future, if there's another juice cleanse that y'all really want me to do, I can invest in a juicer. But let's recap this week, these past few days on the celery juice diet. So I don't feel really any different.
Actually, I've used
I
white grape.
did
White grape juice is
predict
good
initially that the celery
though. White
juice was
grape
going to
juice is
make
good.
kind of a laxative-like activity, but it didn't. It actually worked kind of in the opposite. I felt less regular these past few days than I usually do. One comment, I guess, the one upside of the celery juice, and this is not purely related to the celery juice itself, is that you're drinking 16 ounces of this fluid with a lot of electrolytes in it, and it's satiating, for sure. If you chug 16 ounces of liquid when you're supposed to be eating, it might make you less hungry because you're filling up empty space with liquid. So I could see that if you were doing this for a long period of
Yeah,
time,
Reggie, I
you
could
might
see this
lose some
being
weight
used
with
for
it.
a soup
But
stock
this doesn't
or
mean
Bloody
that it
Mary
needs
or
to be
something
celery
savory.
juice.
Something
You
that's
could
meant
do
to have celery
probably the
flavor in
same
it.
thing with water or
What
another
counts as a
low
liquid?
sugar
That is a
beverage.
debate for another time.
So a lot of the attributes given to this celery
Emu
juice,
milk? Oh my god, no. Okay, if
are kind
you
of
all were in
placebo. And
my Twitch chat last night was just absolute nonsense about milking emus, and yeah. So if you want to hear more about emu milk, you have to go over to Twitch and join us over there. But I think we're done with reacting to that. That was horrendous. Making emu cheese. Yeah, the whole emu cheese thing. All right, so the next thing we're going to react to is going to be a bit more fun. So I could not find the video from from my first ever call-in show, which was the Hang Up with Matt, like several years ago. And I didn't want to do the extra work to look for it. So we're gonna watch my second ever call-in show, which was on the Perspective. And Secularity was the main host at that time. It was a whole thing where I was super nervous to do call-in shows. Like I really wanted to do it, but had never done it before. And was super nervous. If any of you watched that first ever show with Matt, like the fact that I was on the Hang Up as my first ever call-in show was kind of was really terrifying. And I was super anxious during that show. But we are going to watch my second call-in show. And just, reflect on how far we've come since then. I do miss this show, though. I know we have Bree in the side chat here. I know Neil's was on the Perspective a few times as well. It was a great show. I know Ethan has a lot going on. But it was a lot of fun to do this. So I think I might skip the whole intro part and just go to the calls.
Student Dr. Ben.
Hey, how's it going?
Good evening, guys.
Hey, is it Deanne or
yeah.
Diane? Just so that we know.
It's actually Deanne, but I go by D.
We can call you D. So
Alright,
you've got
Yes,
a
you can.
video, it sounds like, of something a little spooky. What happened?
I look so nervous here.
Well, we've been having paranormal experiences for many years, but this one was something out of the ordinary that to this day still perplexes me because I think it was a little more than paranormal. I think there was
Yeah, paranormal, Bree.
there
Paranormal.
looks to something going on that kind of leans like towards extraterrestrial, or at least
Okay.
I kind of tend to think that.
Yeah, that's what
I
we're
don't
here
know
for,
if
D.
you've
What
reviewed the video or not.
No, we haven't. Ben and
Yeah.
I haven't seen the video at all, and our viewers probably out there are a little bit unfamiliar with it as well. If you could just give us maybe like a quick minute, maybe minute and a half rundown of kind of what was going on in it, we'll kind of see what our thoughts are, and maybe we can help figure something out, or
Yeah.
at the very least, just say, "Hey, we don't know."
Yeah, this was it was in the middle of the night, and I had been catching things in my bay window, and I said, just for the hell of it, I'm gonna put my camera up, and I'll put my cell phone up, and I'll put it on the tripod, and I'll just leave it there. And so I didn't really think anything of it. Let it go. And it was pretty much like kind of dozing off, not paying much attention. And I didn't see anything looking out the window. So after I was done taping, wasn't expecting to see anything, went to bed. The next day when I reviewed the recording, I was...
Hold on. Take a moment. Look at SR's face. He's like, what is this bullshit? And then I'm just like, I don't know. I was probably anxious, trying not to look stupid. But I do love this face right here. I don't know if SR is still on the side chat or if he left, but if he is, I'd love to hear his commentary on this one too. But these paranormal calls were like some of the best ones. I wish we got more like this.
Like it was a mouth drop, because there was something near the edge of the road inside my fence, which is roughly like 80 feet away.
Okay, real quick, I've got the videos. I can put them on screen.
Oh, okay.
Okay, there's
Yeah.
2 of them. I'm going
Okay.
to play them right now.
Yeah.
I mean, look how bright that is. And then it goes down. Like you flip the switch.
Yeah, it's like there's just a light there. Like, how is I'm confused about how that's an alien. Is oh, there's more. Okay.
Oh, nobody's here today.
I can hear it.
Okay, so there's like a flash of light. These calls are always so funny to me because, like, I get that you didn't expect there to be a flash of light, but lights are normal to see, especially if you live around other people. And like a light that circular seems like it would be, you know, a flashlight, a lantern, I don't know, a car light, like maybe a motorcycle light. Because I mean, it did hear kind of a motor sound in the background. Like it's probably not an alien. We'll see
Okay.
what we
Went
how we
through the
responded to
window.
this.
My window was closed, and a flick of light jumped from the back of my dining room table right through the window. So it's pretty
Interesting.
cool. But going back to the other video, there's a pole that's lit up that doesn't belong in
Yeah, a
my
lightning
yard.
bug for the second one. Yeah,
And
if you
for the
had
life of us, we
like a
we
lightning
couldn't
bug on
figure
your
out what
table
was causing
that
it to be illuminated.
flew up
Like,
into the
What
window.
was the pole there
Yeah.
to begin with? But being illuminated was even more perplexing.
D, real quick.
Because again,
Let me just jump in real quick and just kind of, you know, ask a little bit of a question
Yeah,
that's been
please.
bouncing around my head. Both of those videos look just a little bit difficult for us as the third party viewer to kind of really suss anything out. But I'm sure it was really powerful while it was happening for you right there. Is it possible that maybe the light in both situations was farther away than what actually felt at that moment? Is that a possibility, or are you confident?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, it's something
chance
else. Like
whatsoever
our
it
perception
was that
of
close.
space is pretty terrible a lot of the time.
Absolutely confident it was in my yard.
Okay.
Absolutely
So
confident
can-
it was in the
confident.
yard.
Within the video, a truck goes by,
Yeah. Okay.
which gives it perspective.
So
Which, like,
I want to
don't
do
think
a little bit of an exercise.
I feel like I don't go into this piece there, but especially at nighttime, like your depth perception goes to absolute shit at nighttime. So the fact that you could be so confident that you knew the exact distance between you and this, this flash of light that you think was in your yard somewhere, especially if you were standing inside and we're looking outside, your depth perception is going to be off just by it being dark outside, but also you have the extra difficulty of having like a glass window in between there. So I question the accuracy of your visual perception in that case. I don't think we specifically made that point here. But I do know I start going into my little like whiteboard scenario with her, and that kind of became one of my more signature ways of handling these calls. That's why I miss these calls. I don't get to do this as much anymore. Like now I'm just yelling at transphobes.
Here. Because I think it's very
My
difficult,
voice is so
especially for something
high-pitched.
like this, where
No.
it's kind of difficult to really make
Squeaky
out what's going
Ben.
on, right? So
Squeaky.
I don't want to sit here and tell you what I think it is, because I think that's just, I could just scramble around in my own brain and give you whatever I can pull out of my head, and that's not a good way to really think about this, right? If we want to discover the truth, I want to
Absolutely.
make sure we're using good methods to get there, but I also want to, if it is true that it's something out of the ordinary,
My
then
mic is
maybe when
also
you
very
leave
far
here,
away
you
from my
could have
face,
a
and I know that I
case
wasn't
to
at
go into
home.
other conversations and be able
I
to
was,
communicate
like,
it with other people.
in
So we can
Colorado
do
for
this
the
kind of
holidays,
as like
but-
a group thing, all three of us
But that mic is
kind of
far away.
participate. Have you ever watched House, the TV show?
No.
Okay, so it's a doctor show, and that's kind
That's
of why
still-
I'm
it's still
playing
easier to
into
get
this,
it with
but
student
the
doctor.
thought process is very similar to
Fair.
what I do on a daily basis with differential diagnosis. So someone comes in, they have some kind of symptom that they can't really explain, and our
I
job
just
isn't
can't-
necessarily
like,
right off the bat to just
cringing.
think of,
I'm
oh,
cringing at
it's
how
this
high
thing
my
or it's
voice
this thing.
is.
Like, we don't just fall into a pattern. We have to think through this analytically and kind of exhaust our options and then figure out how we're going to determine the right answer. And in House, they have a whiteboard, and I don't have my whiteboard with me, but they go through and they
Boom, forgot
just brainstorm.
whiteboard.
What could this be? And then they go through and think, what would I need to do to demonstrate this or to rule out this? So I kind of want to go through something like that here in this situation. So we have these videos, right? We have the light, and then we have the flash in front of the camera. So let's just, if you even have some paper near you or anything where you can keep track of this, what are some possible explanations? Even thinking about the most wild out there explanations, whatever you think could be an explanation, let's write it down.
Yeah, Squeaky Ben is kind of
If you're
adorable, but
playing
it's so
if you're playing
cringe.
along
Yeah.
at home, by the way, to all the viewers
So
out there,
cringe.
please grab a piece of paper, grab a pen, write some stuff down if you want. Shout it out in the chat for us. So,
SR does
but
have
yeah,
a really
Dee,
good like radio
what do you think?
host
You've got-
voice.
do you have an idea
Squeaky
or
Ben
two
didn't so
that
much
Ben
back
was
then.
asking about that it could be? I can think of one. So I
Well,
was
I-
thinking maybe
Well,
like a
well,
stoplight
go
for that
it,
first
because
one.
I've been perplexed for over a year.
Okay,
I'd
well,
even tried to send it into MUFON to have them analyze the original footage, because what you're actually looking at is a video of a video. Because the original video was so dark and so far away, it made it very difficult to see.
okay.
Yeah, exactly though. It was so dark and so far away that your perception is not reliable. That's what we're trying to tell you. And we have inside chat unapologetically Chrissy, welcome to side chat and thank you so much. Yeah, it's been a ride. I know I haven't been streaming a whole lot lately because medicine has been a thing, and life has been things. It's been kind of rough lately, but I have some more time now. That I plan on getting back into more medical myths, and the content is being made for me now. Like I have a never-ending supply of medical myths content to do. So I think we'll probably be back next Saturday doing these videos. But yeah, I have proof. It sucks, but I have proof. Yeah, it doesn't sound like evidence, but we'll see what our response was.
So
Okay.
do you think that, I think what Ben was asking was for us to try and
Oh, there's Bree.
um,
There's Bree's comment in there.
just throw out one or two potentials.
Hold on.
Like
We'll go back to Bree's comment. Oh, did we miss it? There we go. So if there are any werewolves who want to call in, I really want to talk to you. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Bree will still take you up on that offer. If you are a werewolf, go hang out in Bree's side chat, and I'm sure she would love to have you on the show. I'm just saying. I can't give the offer for Bree, but yeah. She still wants to talk to you. There you go. It is such a Bree comment. Yeah. I just love that.
And just throw out one or two potentials. Like for instance, here's the first thing that came to mind for me on that first video.
Go for it.
Now I can see some reasons as to why this, probably isn't it, but could be a stoplight, right? A stoplight does that thing where it's got a light at the top and then it switches like a switch down.
I'm pretty
to
sure
the light
Bree
at the
said that
bottom,
the other
right?
day. Yeah, she
that
probably did.
happens. Now, again, I can think of reasons as to why from that video alone, I probably wouldn't conclude a stoplight. But are there any other potentials that you can think of, like Ben was asking?
Yeah, and don't even worry about ruling it out yet. Just
my
we're gonna
squeaky
take the
voice.
first
I
step
hate
and just
it. I
rule
hate it
things
so much.
in, bring everything in, and then we can rule things out later. So don't even worry about being wrong or sounding stupid. This is just kind of an exercise to see where we get with it. So we've got a stoplight on the list. What else? What other possibilities could there be?
Well, that's the thing.
Well, you said potentially
ruled out
aliens, right?
cell phones. We
cell
ruled
phone?
out cell phones.
Well,
We
let's put
ruled
it back
out
on the list.
Any
Let's-
kind of. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, before we rule it out, let's put it back on the list. Just so we have some options, because I think too often something else that happens with our own brains is we fall into a pattern and we rule things out too quickly without investigating them. And when I'm saying investigating, like I don't mean just that I'm not saying you didn't think through it.
New
I'm
poll
sure
in the
you
side
thought
chat.
through
Put your
it
answers
heavily. But I'm trying to think of ways that if you were to communicate.
Love how
with
this sounds
somebody
like I try
else
to get my
who didn't
4-year-old to
go through that
solve a
initial
problem
thought
setting
process,
him
how could
instead of getting upset.
we get to
Yeah, absolutely.
being able to demonstrate what it was or
Yeah,
wasn't. Because if we're going to rule something out, I'd like to have steps to say
What else would
it's
you
not
like to
this
see?
because like taking the stoplight, you could demonstrate whether or not it's a stoplight by the stoplight would probably be there the next morning. That would be a rule out. But that's something that's demonstrable as to why it's not that. So just let's rule everything in, and then we could start ruling some stuff out, even if we already thought it was off the table.
Well, you don't.
Does that make sense, Dee?
Well, there's not a
what
lot of
Ben is
things-
kind of asking for?
It does, but there's not a lot of things to rule.
That's
in.
okay.
That's the problem.
That's fine. If we only get 3 options, that's 3 more options than we've got right now. That's awesome. Let's just start at ground level. That's what Ben's going for. So we've got cell phone, we've got aliens, we've got stoplights. What else are we thinking could be a possibility? Is there anything else?
Reflection.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Could be.
Yeah.
Could be. The second one could have been, as upsetting as it may be to think, right? But the second video could have been somebody creeping in your yard and like flashing up a flashlight into your window, right?
Yeah, some creeper in
that's
your
not
it
fun
looks
to
like-
think about, but
Yeah.
it could be, right?
an
So we
option.
got 5 options right now of different things. Ben, do we need some more for this, or?
I mean, I don't think we necessarily need to. We could probably go on for hours listing
Right.
off every single possibility.
Right.
But let's take the ones that we have, and we're not gonna. The
I
goal
love
here
this.
is not to.
It's so true, creation myths. Okay, we already thought of a banana and pancakes. Great. Are there any other breakfast foods you like? It's uncanny. Like to go back to this whole thread here. It's so funny. Like yeah, it is like getting your 4-year-old to solve a problem. Yeah, it's like walking them through. Like, okay, what else could this be? What else could we have? We don't have waffles. Could we have cereal? Could we have pancakes? Could we have yogurt? Like, what else could we do? But yeah, it's so funny. No, and there was another call I remember. I think it was on another episode of The Perspective. It might have been the one I did with Richard, where we had like it was either on Perspective or Truth Wanted. I can't remember, but I think it was The Perspective, where a Bigfoot believer called in because and said Bigfoot is real, and that he knows Bigfoot is real because he saw a Bigfoot footprint on the ground. There's just a single footprint, and he believed it absolutely had to have been Bigfoot. It couldn't have been anybody trying to like make a footprint. Like apparently artists don't exist. You can't have an artist like fake a footprint. It has to be really Bigfoot. I wonder if I could find that call because that was funny. I wonder if Ethan like clipped that out. I should go look for it.
To determine if it's true or not. I just want to get the thought process of how we got there. So let's look at each option and then say what would we need to do to demonstrate that it was true? And then what would we need to do to demonstrate that it's not true? Like what would rule it out as a possibility?
Well, if your stoplight is non-existent, so we can rule that out.
Yeah.
There
yeah.
you go. So
Good-
that's
good
no longer
point.
an option. So how would we test the
we've
cell
got,
phone?
What, 4 left?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that one can fall
I
out. Yeah.
actually went out there and videoed it. I actually went out the following night with cell phones trying to recreate
Okay,
what was on the video and didn't even come close.
there you go. So there's a demonstration of that. What else do we have? The reflection
Oh, reflection.
on the
yeah.
flashlight. How can we demonstrate that it
Reflection.
was or wasn't a reflection?
Also, new challenge for side chat. If we get how many channel memberships is reasonable? I mean, Reggie just gave a bunch, but if we get another for the next channel membership I shouldn't even say that. I'll do it. You know, we're having fun today. For the next channel membership that we get, I will mix celery juice and Monster together in this little shot, and I will do it. Okay, that's the next goal. All right.
Well, you'd have to first assume somebody was out there with a flashlight.
Okay.
It's possible if we're thinking about that one. That is, yes, if we come to the conclusion that it definitely was somebody outside your window with a flashlight on that second video, we're probably going to need something that would show that it's a person that was definitely out there. Like maybe in the morning, D, you go outside and you see in your flower bed right under that window, there's one of your flowers that's been stepped on, right? That could be something that could give us some kind of good demonstrable indication that it was a person.
Well, you got to stick to one video at a time because you're bouncing between videos. These are two different videos at two different times.
But I think the point
So-
that student Dr. Ben is trying to get at applies to both of the videos, which is let's take the very first step, which is what we're doing, and just list out as many possibilities as we could and just try to walk through each one of them individually. Whether we're talking about the first video or the second video, I mean, yes, there are two different instances that are occurring, but both of these right now really sit in this kind of nebulous, we don't know space, right? And
Yeah,
we'd go through the
absolutely.
same
Like, we
process of
can't-
figuring out what either of them are, wouldn't we?
Can't prove any of these things
Yeah,
without
but when you're
more
explaining one
investigation.
that's 80 feet
but
away and you're explaining
You
one
also
that's
can't
inside
jump
the
to
house, you've
extraterrestrial.
got two different situations. You can't, you're not able to combine the two and
Right.
you
Yeah,
know,
I get where
form-
Yeah,
I
I know what
absolutely
you're
get what
saying,
you're saying
lady.
there.
It
So
is-
let's
you can't jump to
we found some good options
extraterrestrial
for
from that.
the first scenario. Let's talk about the second video. So what possibilities could we have for that second video?
Well, since I don't know which video you're looking at, I need
Oh.
to know which one you're talking
Wondering
about. The
what
one that
other-
looks purple or the one that's a little flick
This
of
one
light
doesn't
that
have
goes
like
through the
clear
window.
timestamps,
That
so
was
I
the
can't
second
tell
video we
what
saw.
all
Was the flicker?
calls are on this.
Okay.
Yeah, this one.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's the
that
second
looks
video.
like it looks
Inside.
like a lightning bug.
Yep. That was inside the house, window
I'm
closed.
going with Bo's guess on that being
me interacting,
the most
trying
likely
to get a reaction.
scenario. SR
Okay.
looks like
So what could have
done with
caused
this call.
Trying to surmise something
Yeah, no,
that I'm looking at
I
not
get
only on video
Dr.
but in
Dan, I
real
get that
time.
you are sure that it was a firefly, but actually,
I'm a very analytical thinker,
actually, it's an alien.
but to try and come up with variables to something like that, I mean,
It's
it's
tough.
literally impossible for me.
It's difficult, and that's kind of why I brought this approach in, because when you really think through,
Yeah, it's
especially if you're
hard
starting
when
off
you
saying
actually
this is
think
something
about
out
it
of the
logically.
ordinary, or like
It's
this
easy
could be
to
related to something
give whatever
else
answer
that's,
you
that's
want,
bigger than
but
what we would normally think of. It's kind of good to think through it like this, and if you get to a point where you say, "Wow, I can't really demonstrate this," or "I can't really think this through," it's more difficult to attribute it to something out of the ordinary then. Right?
Well, that's why
Oh no, the
I don't
time
put
zones.
videos up until I've gone through that process.
In all fairness, Miranda, I did change the time. It was going to be at 3 p.m. Eastern time, and then I moved it to be right after Bree's stream. So that might not have been on you, and it might have been on me. But anyways, welcome. And for the next channel member I will do a shot of Monster and celery juice together in the little detox shot glass. So
Where I absolutely have no explanation, and then I'll put it out there.
Mhm.
Like the first video, I tried to get MUFON. I tried to send it to MUFON because I really questioned what was out in that front yard. I couldn't duplicate it.
yeah, it's probably a bug.
Go ahead.
Yeah, can I just kind of just shift just a little bit? Because I think already, D, it's been a really great call, and we really appreciate you hanging out with us and
I
just
love
kind of
calls
letting
like
us,
this.
poke.
I
at
want more
this
calls like
and
this.
see if maybe we can get maybe a different perspective on it. Which, by the way, if you're out there watching right now and you haven't called into this show with a cool story, whether it's aliens or ghosts or God, we love it all. So call us. That being said, D, how do you think these experiences, these two in particular that we've been talking about, how do you think they affect you in your daily life? Do you think you act differently?
And now we're going to utility.
No,
argument.
because they events happen almost daily. Whether it's something visual or an EVP or something physical. I'm so used to it. It doesn't faze me anymore. It doesn't. It's more intriguing than anything.
Okay. So it's not as if you avoid certain places because you've had paranormal experiences there, or you
Oh,
you
God,
know.
no.
Okay. It's not as if you're afraid to go call somebody or hold a yellow crystal or anything like that. It's not really that. It's just become kind
Oh,
of a
God.
background noise for you.
Pretty much. After
Interesting.
50 years, it gets, you know, kind of like not as what's the word I'm trying to think of? It's an everyday thing,
Sure.
you know, except for when you come across those particular videos where you're going, what is that? You know, what? How do I figure out what this is? Because this is not normal. This is not something that. And not only did I catch it in my yard, I ended up catching it in my neighbor's yard. You know, a few days later. So there's.
Ben,
It's
any
kind of
other?
commonplace, but yet things like that.
I feel like
aren't.
this call is wrapping up.
Sure. Ben, any other thoughts before we
Saying, I do think you're
appreciate you hanging out with us, and
Think
like
we're
I
gonna go on to the
said,
next call.
please give us a call on what you're doing. But SDB, you've got some links for
We're just gonna
and for
chill.
a while you were like, oh, have
All right.
with us Charlie. Charlie, you were on with Student Dr. Ben and Secular Rarity. It sounds like
Right,
you've
what's
got
this?
something pretty interesting you want to talk about. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well, thank you. How are you gentlemen doing today?
We can't complain.
doing all right. Yeah.
What it looks fun. I don't want to introduce it. I want you to introduce it for
Yeah,
all of the
RP,
people out there.
exactly.
What do you want to talk about?
Exactly this point.
So today, I don't necessarily have a personal story about these particular yokai, as I like to call them. And for those of you who do not know what yokai is, it is a Japanese term that is usually used to call anything that's unexplainable or any kind of creature.
Okay,
and that's a
okay, this
popular
is a
term
fun
that I
one,
personally
too.
like to use,
This
aside
is a
from
fun
being an
call as
anime
well.
and manga weeb. Don't judge me. But being someone that has also a huge interest in this, I feel that to just keep it general and sometimes a little more safer for those who are more open to the idea of the existence for these things like myself, I prefer yokai.
Charlie, can I
for
jump
various
in real
different
quick?
reasons. However,
Can I jump in
Yeah.
real quick? I just want to real quick. Can you give us all a spelling of yokai? How does that get spelled? My Japanese is bad.
That's our
So,
asking so that we
for
can
yokai,
Google it.
I'm not exactly sure.
I'm pretty
what
sure we
the
were both very
characters for it
confused
in
about this
Japanese
topic.
would be. However, in
This is
English,
definitely more of
would
a
be
this is more of a Bree topic right here. Like Bree would have been all about
Y-O-K-A-I.
this call, but I think
Awesome.
SR and
Go
I were
ahead.
just
Yokai.
confused.
I'm sure there were other people out
Alright,
there confused.
So, no worries. So I would like to talk about a North American favorite, two actually, Wendigos and Skinwalkers. And for my own personal sanity, I would prefer to just call them myself W's and Walkers for the time being, like The Walking Dead almost.
Okay.
The reason being is that even though there's not much
Brantley,
information about
welcome.
Walkers or W's, is because these particular yokai are deeply rooted in ancient northern Native
I
American
want to hear
culture, and
Bree's thoughts
talking about
on
them specifically,
this call.
or even thinking about them, or even speaking of them generally, is thought to have negative consequences, that it almost invites them into you. And you can actually see this with a lot of various other different kinds of yokai around the world, where people will say, oh, don't speak of this particular one or else they're going to start coming to you, or don't think of it or it will happen. Almost like the saying, you speak negativity into the air to make
Can
it
I
into
ask
existence.
a question real quick? So when you
Yeah,
say that
sure.
they're coming at you, like do you have specific examples of what consequences you would get from that situation? Like is it a like a physical consequence? Is it like do just unlucky things happen?
It
Like what
really can be. I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt.
yeah.
What that means is, yes, there could be some physical consequences that happen. Now, whether these are to actually harm you or just to show you. Either way, there can be something that lets you know they're there. And even though, again, I am glad I have not personally experienced these, because
So it's still like
looking
not
these-
specific. So not specific about what happens to you when you run into these things, which I mean, I clearly don't know a whole lot about this stuff. But if you don't like this video and subscribe to the channel, then these things will come after you. I don't make the rules. That's just how it is. If you are not liking and subscribing, then sorry, you're gonna get got by the Wendigos.
particular yokai up, you can see how terrifying they are, even without the pop culture describing them the way they are. If you look into the deep legend and true legend for whatever can be found about them,
Well,
that
Charlie,
is actually coming from
So-
the culture,
Charlie, hang on a
they
second
are
for us.
horrifying creatures.
Hang on a second for us.
This is all just like so
'cause
circular
you
and
have
dodging
made
the point.
quite a good few claims already.
Mhm.
I think a lot of the times when we're in this setting, especially on the side, where Ben and I kind of come down, which is, we're a little bit more skeptical. Maybe, maybe we don't jump to an answer as quick. We're not really, running around saying we hung out with Bigfoot and had a beer, that type of stuff. That
Right.
all that being said, right now, to me, it seems like the best information we've got on these W's or walkers, just to keep with that for you, are legend. They're really old stories that a lot of people have told for a really long time. Is there maybe something more tangible that we can point to that kind of gives us information about these?
So I agree with you. I feel that conclusion should never be jumped to right from the get-go from hearing just a small portion of tales. And yes, you are
Thanks
right.
for the sub,
These
Sapphire.
particular yokai
Welcome to
come
whatever
from
this is.
legend. So a lot of the information that is passed down is from legend. However, I feel that strongly that there could be a chance of certain particular yokai actually existing. Just to get off track a little bit, I don't know if many
Well, hang
people
on.
agree with me
Hang
on
on
this,
just
but
a
I'm gonna
second,
talk about-
Charlie.
Oh, sorry.
Hang on just a second, because I don't
Yeah.
want to get too far off of that, because I think you said
You're right.
something there that was really, really interesting and might be worth just kind of poking at a little bit. Could it be the case that right now, in your toilet, like deep in your toilet, deep in those pipes, my brother, there is a gold brick? Could that technically be possible?
I guess that particular circumstance would fall under, this could very well be wrong, but Schrodinger's cat, where it could be or could not be possible at the same time.
Yeah.
What?
So
Pretty
if that
pretty
were
much.
the case, I'd be really happy.
Yeah,
What?
me too,
Would be
right? Like,
incredibly
I'd love it.
What? Okay, no, that's not how Schrodinger's cat works. No, because Schrodinger's cat is based on actual physics that we know. That if you put a cat in a box and you seal the box, there's probably a certain amount of time that it would take before the cat would die. And so it's an estimate of, like, before you open the box, you don't know if sufficient conditions were met for the cat to continue to live or not. Like, we already know those parameters. Knowing whether or not it's possible for yokai to exist is not the same thing as having enough evidence to say that this is in the realm of possibility. And yeah, Maya, I feel like this was in response to exactly what he said there. Yeah, what? That is very confusing. I'm very confused by that. But no, this is not the same as Schrodinger's cat. And we should have pointed that out here.
We should split it.
Right.
Please don't take apart your plumbing, Charlie. But I guess
No,
what
I
I'm
won't.
saying is good. The reason I brought that up was
Welcome,
just to
Ryan.
say,
Welcome.
when I first asked the
here.
question, and I'll shut up for this because I know Ben has some stuff to say. But when I first asked, I was asking.
I do want to say, okay, Maya, I think I think you should take that, like clip that part where he's talking about Schrodinger's cat, and then send that to Dr. Tapioca Weasel and make him respond to that statement, because I'm sure he would blow a gasket by hearing that. And thank you, Ryan. Appreciate having you here. Yeah, I know you're laughing about that. Yeah, because if anybody knows, if any of you have watched Bad Science Sunday, which if you haven't, you should go watch it because it is hilarious. But Dr. Tapioca Weasel would absolutely like flip his shit by hearing that. It would be very, very funny to watch. I'm just saying. Yeah, and we are. This is early on for both of us, and I think now we would definitely have something to say about that. But yeah. Show Maya, clip this out and send it to him.
About something like today that was like tangible, something that we could put our hands on or take a look at or something. And one of the first things that you said was, well, I mean, like it could be the case that these legends are true. And I don't dispute that. I'm with you. But it could also be the case that there's a gold brick sitting in either of our plumbing systems right now, but neither of us are going to go take apart our toilets and like look for that, because we feel
the
pretty
gold
strongly
brick is SR's version of
it's
Roland the Closet Goblin.
But again,
I feel like
let me
every
shut up.
content
I know
creator in
Ben's
the
got
space has our
something
own.
He probably has to say. So.
You're
Go ahead.
welcome.
Okay,
Yeah, there's
so
a
I want
link
to take this
for Bad
at a
Science
little
Sunday.
different of an angle, because I know SR's hitting on the philosophy and the logic as he does. There's something here that
Hitting
you
on the
said
logic
that
except for
really
Schrodinger's
could
cat. No, he
make
just
a
totally
difference in
let
how
slide.
I see this issue. So you said that they can cause physical consequences. You have made a claim that is now in the realm of demonstrable or not demonstrable. So if these do have an effect on people and on the reality,
Yeah, specify
that we
what is the
exist in,
effect that they have. What do
what
they do
kind
to
of
you?
things? Because you said that they could have some physical effects. So I want some specifics. What types of things
There we
could
go.
I
That's the
expect
question.
that would tell me that
That's the
this
question.
particular W or Walker interacted with our reality?
I'm glad I shut up. That was a good question.
So, all right, let me start with the W's. So, W's are, I'm not sure again if many people are familiar with them, but they're creatures from northern Native American legends. Excuse me if I sound a little fumbly. I'm really excited to be doing this show. I love your guys' energy. So, talking about this though, they stem deeply from Native legends. And like many legends, some of them are based on loose facts that kind of weave to the imaginations of everybody, and they kind of change. Like the telephone game, you tell one person one thing, and then it becomes another something.
Hold on though. If these are real, then the things that they do are not dependent on people's interpretation of what they do. Right? Like that doesn't make any sense. If it really does something, you should have an example of it did this thing. Like real events are not dependent on the telephone game. Like that, like sure, people's retelling of them can change, but if you had an experience with one of these, which this guy is seeming to claim, if you had a real experience with it, you should have a clear example that you can give of what happens. Like, what did you see? How do you know you saw that? Etc. And welcome, Sonia, and thank you so much. We will continue on with this.
Close, and then it becomes something all different together. W's are actually considered to be people at one point who had been driven to madness either by greed, starvation, so they will eat other flesh. And that's how a W is particularly, I guess, for lack of a better term.
So that sounds like a politician. I'm going to say now that a W is a politician.
turn created. So they stem from cannibalism, which is something that we have seen in society for many encounters, and throughout the world, cultures have different terms for W's, which are almost the same.
Yes, he is talking about Wendigos, but he wanted us to not say the word Wendigo. So we're calling them W's.
Same with different physical appearances. So in that sense, a cannibal could very well technically be considered a W. But for pop culture, W's are creatures that are disfigured and morphed with bones showing, antlers, deer skin, deer skulls. They change so much about pop culture, but the root of it still started from cannibalism.
Okay, so I want to address
That
something
tells us
really
nothing.
quick because I want to make sure that we're not straw manning you in our approach to this conversation. In your belief, like with the information you are bringing to us, do you see these W's as like a spiritual entity, or do you see them as a physical entity? What specifically are we talking about?
So specifically, we are talking about it in general. I'm personally not trying to convince anybody.
What kind of answer to that question? Like, is it a spiritual thing? Is it a physical thing? Oh, I'm just talking about it in general. Okay, so what does that mean? What are you claiming? And what are you trying to prove? Like, just answer the question. I think now I would get more frustrated with these people than I did back then.
I don't feel the need to try and convince somebody because there are definitely many poke holes to go through this. I'm particularly just talking about fruit for the mind and could these exist and how did they come to be in this day and age?
If I could real quick though, Charlie.
Okay, so it sounds like he wants to actually discuss whether or not it's possible that they could exist. But again, he's not defining what he means by these things. Like he's not giving a lot of information, and he's like, I'm trying to prove that these things could be possible, but I'm not going to define my terms, and I'm also just going to keep kind of dodging around what we're talking about. But definitely real, but also I can't convince you. I'm not trying to convince you. Like, what are we doing then?
If I could, just because I want you to know that this is safe and fertile ground here. I think both Ben and I very much, and please don't let me speak for you, Ben. Tell me if I'm way off base here. But I think Ben and I very much would like to go to bed tonight. And if there are W's and walkers, I think we want to go to bed accepting that those things are real. I don't want to sleep one more moment in my absolutely incredibly soft, large, fuzzy blanket that I have, thinking that these things aren't real if they are real. So please, convince us. We want you to convince us. Like, what is it? What's the evidence? Like, tell us.
All right. So I feel that if we are going to talk about the possibility of these creatures, yokai, existing, would be to take a better look at the walker, which is much more terrifying in a sense, as these can do several different kinds of magic, as skinwalkers are former shaman who have lost their way. So these particular yokai can actually turn into several different kinds of animals, either appearing as a coyote, a bird of some sorts, any other kind of physical animal. Now, the other terrifying aspect of them is the fact that they can actually travel great distances just to actually show somebody they exist. And there have been several claims of this happening, and each one is kind of terrifying because there's
Okay, hold on. So they will travel great distances just to show you that they exist, but then this guy can't describe what things these creatures are doing and keeps dodging that point.
sort of similar. It starts with seeing an animal that at a quick glance looks normal, but when you go back, there are many different things according to it. Now,
Like what?
the eyes are one of the biggest things.
Okay.
Animal eyes are different than human eyes, varying from species. So these particular yokai can look like them, but they're not. And then they can mimic. They can actually mimic the voices of our loved ones. And they are so convincing at it that you really do begin to think it's actually them.
Where
Now, I don't know about
Charlie.
yourselves, and I don't want to speak for you, but I have had instances where I have heard someone or something speaking to me in the voice of my deceased mother. And they did not sound exactly like her, as there was.
That sounds like a trauma response. Like that sounds like you had, like, if it's your deceased relative, or like if you're thinking about a person that you know you used to have in your life or currently do have in your life, it's possible that your brain is having an auditory hallucination hearing that other person's voice. Like, and it's not saying that somebody is like mentally unstable in any way. I think everybody has random auditory hallucinations here and there. Like, yeah, it sounds like an explanation for grievance hallucinations. Absolutely. It, like, and even outside of that, like, there are times when you think you hear your name being called and nobody spoke at all. Like, that happens, I think, to everybody. I would not jump from this to it was a cryptid saying this. Like, that's a bit of a stretch, but you know, some people really do believe this stuff.
Was a slight difference in pitch. Now, I don't want to say it was, but my mind jumped right to that first because that's the most keen detail
Charlie, can I
that
jump in again
has
real quick?
stuck out to me. Go ahead.
I don't know if I don't know if you've noticed or not. But in the last few minutes, for instance, you said about 6, maybe 7 really interesting things that all seem like they have a
Slow down.
lot of baggage. Like, for instance, you mentioned how they use magic, but I'm not positive that I have a decent enough definition of magic even to grant anything about magic. So like that for me would probably take a whole 30-minute discussion of trying to figure out what that is. And I guess I want to go back to kind of where Ben was going, because I think this is really, really important. And I think it's something that, would actually be really cool too. I mean, so what is that thing that we could look at, that we could circle with the big red marker and say, like, there's that physical evidence of this? Because it sounded like, again, earlier at the beginning, you made it sound like they can interact with us, like they could bite us or yell at us or I don't know, throw stones. I mean, all kinds of things. And I think that's kind of where Ben was going. Like, is there maybe a medical report of somebody having these intense gashes on their arm? And it's just like, oh my gosh, everything that we know about medicine tells us this would have to be an animal and it couldn't be a bear. Does that kind of make sense? Was that right, Ben? Is that kind of where you were going?
Yeah, I'm just kind of going with something that we can really point to, and you're hitting it right on the head. But then also I want to point out something here too. It seems like we're starting with a conclusion and then working backwards to the data. What we need to do is we need to start with the data and then work towards the conclusion. So it sounds like we have this picture in the legend of the walker, right? And then we're taking the smaller piece and saying, okay, well, the small piece could be consistent with this legend of the walker. So that's probably related. Or this other person's story is similar to this. So what we should do is, like SR is saying, we should start with, okay, here's something that happened. and then trying to work from that hypothesis of what did this, and then working our way to the conclusion. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
So,
So
what,
I guess what would be the most compelling evidence of, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Was one of you about to go?
no, I was just saying, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Charlie.
Okay. All right. So I guess the most convincing piece of evidence would be one that I hear time and time again about a particular place called Skinwalker Ranch. And this particular place has had
where's
a
Bree
lot
for this?
of paranormal activity going on and things that people can't fully explain scientifically. And it all started with the first family to actually own that area, which just so happened to be on cursed Navajo land, which is where the first walker has appeared. Now, the only reason I said it first time was to give people the place of what it's actually called. So this place really kind of started this really big interest in the possibilities of walkers existing. And it's because this particular family has had several different kinds of encounters with all types of paranormal activity. The biggest one stepping out to them was a wolf that wasn't exactly a wolf. Now, this particular wolf has been harassing the family for quite some time when they first got there, but not actually doing anything. It just didn't look right. So I guess the biggest thing would be to look at that first. How can we
hold on,
dissect
hold on.
that?
Let's pause
And how
real
can we
quick.
tell it's true?
This dude's story is all over the place. Like, I'm very confused.
I want to address this real quick because you're saying it's a wolf that didn't look exactly like a wolf. I want specifics. Like, what if I were to look at two wolves? What would tell me that one is a regular wolf and one is something paranormal?
I feel confident I couldn't tell them apart. That's just me. I feel like I couldn't tell two wolves apart. So, yeah, that's a great question.
Well,
what?
That's
Go ahead, Charlie.
so that's kind of one of the most terrifying things about walkers is that at a quick glance, and for those who are unknowing of what these animals look like,
I look like I'm so. We both SR and I look like we're so done with his shit. It's really funny.
as the average wolf will go with, for this example, which is, well, is that their eyes are almost like humans, and that the tail is not even a tail; it's a stub.
Like,
and then the fact that it's a bigger wolf.
Okay, hold on. So these are things that we see in the animal kingdom. I don't know if you've looked at like a dog's eyes. Some of them have very similar eye shapes to humans. Granted, you might have variations in pupil size and iris size. But I mean, even my own dog back home has eyes that are kind of comparable to a human. Size.
Yeah, I probably would. I probably would back him farther into the corner. I have gotten aggressive
among different species of wolves. Is there anything really in those that would have to be something other than a wolf?
This has started settling, and it's kind of gross.
I guess the best way to put it when it comes to that, and again, I've had no personal experiences, all just coming from other stories and people sharing similarities between them, is that when you look into the eyes of these particular walkers who take in the shape of a wolf, it's not so much that, how do I explain this? This has always been tough to explain. This is why I'm glad I chose to be on the show and talk, and this is the one that rolled.
I appreciate it.
The best way to put it would be that the stare into these particular walkers' eyes is not like you're just looking at an animal. It's really like you're looking at a person mimicking an animal. I know that doesn't fully click,
right?
But
Yeah,
that's the only
okay.
way I can really explain it.
Can we pause it right there, Charlie? Because I think that might be a great place to pause it and give us a freaking call back, man. Because let me tell
Yes.
you, this is interesting stuff.
Yeah, so that's kind of the end
And
of
there is
this
a
call.
lot here that I think
I'll queue up the next one.
when we have those experiences,
Where
when
are
we
we at?
great job, Charlie.
Speaking of,
Question that I have for you that I'm sure
Every Tuesday at 7 p.m. This
Oh,
awesome
definitely.
channel. Now, okay, I don't have much to live for in life, and that's the one thing. That's
We're
what does
always
it. So,
starting to back up.
what do you think? Are you? Do you think tomorrow when you wake up, you're gonna believe in W's and walkers? Where do you think?
I don't know. I think I need to.
And we have the perfect person to answer this, and y'all get.
Oh, hold on. I want to hear what this is.
No, I think I need to tune in to the next time he calls in, and
That was a great play.
yeah. I mean, I still need a little more, but
That's
I mean,
right.
it's still not ruled out yet.
All right, okay,
I'm
the
there
next call.
too. I'm
Go to the
there
next
too.
call.
Well, we have the perfect call next.
Yes,
I
we do.
just I
Okay, what
think
is
this
this?
is going to be so awesome. I am so excited. And we have the perfect person to answer this, and y'all get just a few moments of me being silent. I know everybody wants that. We have Prophet Moonstruck hanging out with us. You are on with
Oh, this is a good one. Okay, hold on. I have to get up. And take a bio break, but we're gonna listen to Prophet Moonstruck. Did he ever call back? I don't know. I don't know, but we'll have to go back and see. But give me like a couple minutes. I'll put. I don't know. I'll give you all like a little bit of music or something. I don't know, and we will come back briefly. I don't have a coming back soon screen, so you all get the starting soon screen again. I'll be back. Sorry about that little break. I don't usually stream as long as I'm gonna be streaming today. So because normally we'd be ending about now, but we're gonna keep going because this is super fun, and it is a special occasion. So, yeah, I have some other like coming back soon stuff, but I don't have it on the YouTube side. I only have stuff on the Twitch side, so I'm gonna have to make some stuff for this. But I know I normally have shorter shows over here. So, but anyway, we will press on because I don't remember what this call was about.
Dr. Ben and Secular Rarity, and you have something medical you want to talk about. Is that right?
Yes, that's right. Hello, everyone.
Hey.
Hello.
Yeah, what you got for us?
All right. So I was going on a Twitter ramble as Everyone goes with certain someone, and we went to a point. We reached a point where they said that a certain antiparasitic medication, I think we know what this is about, it is not effective in dealing with the current pandemic. Is it or not?
It's a good
All
question.
right.
Real
This
quick,
is a great question.
before you say anything, Ben, let me just shout out our wonderful friend Brain.
Hold on, another Bree comment. Oh, we got Kyle back here. Another Bree comment. Bring on the Skinwalkers. Ben rules. Ivermectin time. This is another like super duper Bree comment right there. I love seeing the throwbacks. Like this is fun. This is fun responding to old content. It seems like the chat poll is showing that yes, we should do more like this. I might start doing another show on this channel where we react to calls and go in more depth on those. And I could even bring on guests and react to that. I know a lot of people in our community do debate reviews, but we can do like some call reviews. That'd be kind of fun. And Bree we could even get Bree on here to react to that that Skinwalker call. That'd be super fun.
Bug, thank you so much. Bring on the Skinwalkers. Ben rules. Ivermectin time. I agree. All right, go.
Yes,
it is ivermectin time. Yeah, and I love that you're bringing this up as a question because I know there's a lot of conflicting viewpoints going around, and it's difficult to really know what to do with it. Especially
I might need to debunk some of this now because we have more information since this show was made.
If you're not familiar with the data, I know there are people who have made studies. There's a certain meta-analysis that went out talking about ivermectin, and I'm gonna say it's not effective for the current pandemic, and there are multiple reasons why people are peddling this as a remedy. But I'm gonna focus here not too much on like the super specifics of the science of ivermectin because I have a whole video on that. But I want to
shameless plug for my own video back then, which we also did. We did another review of ivermectin not too long ago since RFK Jr. made that whole statement about it. And there's that influencer that died in 2023 from ivermectin and all that stuff. So go back and watch that ivermectin content. But young student Ben trying his best to navigate through these controversial topics. If this was a call today, I would definitely back this person into a corner, and it would be a lot more fun. Yeah, because COVID is not caused by worms. Yeah, and that is something we went into on the ivermectin stream.
Tackle a few of the like important points if you were to get into a discussion with somebody about ivermectin and why those arguments don't hold water. So kind of the biggest one here is that, yes, in certain studies, you see antiviral properties with ivermectin. The biggest problem with this, these were in vitro studies and not in vivo studies. So are you familiar with the difference between in vitro and in vivo?
What's the in vivo one?
Yeah, so in vivo is a study that is done in an organism. So in a human.
I will give this caller a little bit of a pass for the language because it sounds like this person is not a native English speaker. So maybe the pronunciation of in vivo and in vitro are kind of different, or if they have a different term in their language. I'm going to give them a pass for that. But like, you should know that if you are like talking about a medication, in vitro studies are not going to be worth their salt at all. Like the only thing you can do with an in vitro study is use it to propel in vivo studies. And, you know, it helps drive up your ability to get funding for in vivo studies.
Or in an animal trial, you're using the medication on, yeah. And then in vitro is in like a petri dish.
Yeah.
So the concentration needed to produce an antiviral property was 5 micromolar concentration. So let me put that into perspective a little bit. So the highest dose given to a person of ivermectin is 0.28 micromolar concentration, significantly less than that 5 micromolar amount. And that is still about 3 times the amount that is routinely given for a parasitic infection. So you can see that even if ivermectin is going to have antiviral properties, the amount at which you'd have to give is incredibly dangerously high. So that's something really important to look at is, sure, this drug could have a function, but is that function practical with how we are going to use it in a clinical setting?
He did
Like,
know more of
for
the stuff
example,
back then.
If one
I'm
does
proud of him
not want to vaccinate at all, shouldn't he be recommended, at least proposed, ivermectin to
Did you just real quick? Even though Ben's the one here that's really well trained, I'm gonna shout back what Ben said real quick, and we'll see if we're all on the same page. It sounded like what Ben said, our good medical doctor friend, which by the way, happy birthday, Ben. Jonathan
It's
made
not my
this
birthday.
happen.
It's not my
well,
birthday.
Jonathan did it either way, so we can blame him. But Moonstruck, it sounded like what Ben was saying was essentially the amount of this medication that it would take to be effective is so absurdly high that it wouldn't be helpful. Am I wrong on that? Did I?
Yeah, it's like that, and that whole point of, well, if somebody refuses to get vaccinated, should we just give them some medication that isn't going to do anything instead? No, you should not. And I do need to do a video on the anti-vax movement, and discuss really like the huge problem. One of the huge problems with the anti-vax movement is that it is not an informed consent issue, because like informed consent implies that you are informed on the risks, the benefits, etc., with what treatment you are consenting to or refusing. This is misinformed refusal or misinformed consent. Like consenting to ivermectin for COVID is misinformed consent. It is because you are not getting accurate information, and you don't have enough correct information to make your own decision. So I'll do a whole talk on that, but that's an important thing to point out. This is not like, even where I totally have respect for bodily autonomy, and your right to make your own decision about what goes in your body. However, you need to have accurate information in order to do that. And so if you are refusing a vaccine because of misinformation, that is not informed consent, and you should not have that should not be used as the basis for refusal. Yeah, misinformed consent is very common. Absolutely, it is.
I misunderstand?
You're not wrong. You're not
Okay.
wrong. And
Does that-
I want to address what our caller is saying, because you just said that if someone is not willing to be vaccinated, shouldn't they get ivermectin?
Ooh, I need to do this. I need to debunk that. Thank you for giving me more content, because that's actually pretty it's pretty hilarious. And welcome, Minnow, to the side chat.
As a second line measure. Is that correct? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Okay. So
what's it called?
Yeah, like a prophylaxis.
Yeah.
No, absolutely not.
Let me just ask you really quick.
Do not use ivermectin as COVID prophylaxis. That's really dumb.
From your understanding of ivermectin, what is the goal? What does ivermectin do?
Good question, young Padawan.
Oh. from what I've heard, is that it kind of like engulfs the cells and
What?
protects them from not from the virus, but it's more protected from the virus, because when the virus will attack, will attack the shell first that's created by
So it's
the
the
effects of
proposed
virus.
mechanism. The proposed mechanism is that
No.
it inhibits viral replication, which at those incredibly high doses of 5 micromolar concentration, yes, it would. But something else here, when we're giving a therapy for COVID, so even we're addressing the vaccine. So if we're giving someone the vaccine, what is the goal of the vaccine?
To have a passport. No, I'm sorry. The goal of the vaccine is to stop. That was the initial goal, to stop the spread.
Right. Okay.
But then
So-
it changed to.
And yeah, thank you, Apostate Sisters. I think this is my first time seeing you in. Is it my first time seeing you in my side chat? I might have seen you in here other times before, but yeah, people who just joined that have channel memberships, you were gifted by Reggie, who is amazing in side chat. So give a shout out to Reggie if you received a channel membership. Yeah, this call, I don't know how much more of this call like we're gonna react to, because it's just
All right.
it's gonna go in
Yeah.
circles.
Yeah, so
can
so
go
we
on
have
this
a
one.
very specific goal here, right, for the vaccine. The goal of the vaccine is to prevent spread. And then we have a couple different camps of ivermectin people who, some say prophylaxis, and then some say for in-hospital therapy. And those are both very different goals. Anytime we give a medical therapy at all, there needs to be a very measurable goal. So if I were to give an antibiotic, right, my goal is to reduce replication of the bacteria. Or if I give you an asthma medication, if I give you albuterol, a goal is either to improve oxygenation, reduce mortality by such and such percent. There's a very specific goal in mind. So to just say this helps people with COVID is a very broad claim that's not really being demonstrated. We have to figure out why we're using it. And for something like prophylaxis versus an in-hospital treatment, those are very different goals. Prophylaxis, you're trying to prevent somebody from getting an infection at all, or, well, not necessarily prevent them from getting it, but prevent them from having complications of it. If I were to give you a prophylaxis for malaria, it's not a vaccine in that it's not going to prevent you from getting malaria. It's just if you were to contract it, you would be able to fight it off. You're already pre-treated for it.
Oh, it doesn't show the
Whereas
emote
if you're in the hospital
from here.
like shit has already hit the fan.
Yeah.
And
Like
hang
you're
on,
already. Yeah.
Yeah.
hang on just a second, Moonstruck, because I want to point out something here for everybody out there that's
Okay.
feeling just a little bit hot at how many times our good boy Ben has said prophylaxis. Did you know that 9 p.m. Central Time on this great channel, there is an awesome show called The Pickup Line where they take your calls about sex, dating, and relationships? You guys should come hang out. Just like
That
I
is an
said, if you're
interesting.
feeling just a
That's
little
an
bit
interesting segue.
temperature
SR.
rising. I know I was there. But Moonstruck, did some of that stuff that Ben was shouting?
SR just like shamelessly plugging another show during the call when there's nothing related to that call or nothing related to that show. That is really funny. I kind of wish SR was here to react to this too. I should get Richard on to react to the other episode that I did with him. I'm gonna actually ask him. I'm gonna ask him right now.
There, did that kind of make sense to you? Did some of the reasons why he was pushing back against those claims?
Yes, I understand what he said, but the thing is, what I'm specifically talking about is the prophylactic ivermectin.
Mhm.
And if the thing is, I understand that in some cases the vaccine is better, but we have a lot of vaccine hesitant and COVID vaccine hesitant, not all vaccine hesitant. But for those that do not want to get the shot, wouldn't ivermectin be recommended as a prophylactic?
No.
Well, so as I mentioned,
Shouldn't.
right, it's going to take a
No.
huge dose to even get that property to happen. There's a threshold at which it can be used for. So at the concentrations that it is currently tested at for use for onchocerciasis or strongyloides, parasitic infections, which I think the standard dose is 200 micrograms per kilogram of body weight. So we've tested that, and it is effective for those parasitic infections at that small dose. There's a threshold.
Although with adults, we don't often do weight-based dosing. We'd probably just give like a standard dose to most people, unless they're like a super small old lady or a super big like jacked dude that like probably have a rapid metabolism. Like mostly weight-based dosing is going to be for peds, and for adults you just use kind of a standard dose. But small detail. Am I going
At that 5 micromolar concentration, that it would even be effective at all as an antiviral. So knowing that it's going to have complications at that high dose and not have the benefit earlier than that, why would you give somebody something that's not going to benefit at the safe dose?
Does that make sense, Moonstruck?
Yes, it does, but that still remains in the question, like what should one do? Like
If
Really, that's your question. So if the answer to if someone does not want to get vaccinated and you shouldn't give them ivermectin, what should they do? They should get the vaccine. They should get the vaccine. That is the answer. You get the vaccine, and then, if you have a reason to not get the vaccine, which most people do not have a reason, even people with severe allergies can still often get the vaccines. They just need to be extra monitored, and even sometimes monitored by like their allergist. But there's very, very few circumstances where not getting the vaccine would actually be the recommended course of action. So your answer is clear. You can either get the vaccine and have that protection, or you can risk it and not get it. But there isn't really a good backup plan, because if we had a secondary plan that would do the same thing as a vaccine, that would effectively also be a vaccine. Right. So you'd just be swapping one vaccine for another. I think if this caller called in like today, I'd be a lot tougher on him. I was very nice. And I think at this point with my first call-in shows, I was trying to be really nice. I was trying not to offend people. Like I was very worried about, my public image and stuff, which I'm still going to try to do things in a tactful way. But my threshold for what bullshit I'm going to allow has decreased significantly.
So
if they don't want to get the vaccine,
ever.
Are you asking,
vaccine,
just so we know, you're asking what should somebody do if they don't want to get the vaccine?
So
exactly.
Okay.
Okay, so if that's the question, that's difficult because we don't have a good prophylaxis, and there are things being looked into, and even some of the other drugs that have been prescribed for COVID, they're being used for hospitalized patients. So we don't have anything prophylactically. People being given remdesivir or azithromycin are being given it in the hospital to reduce mortality. And remdesivir isn't antiviral, and azithromycin isn't even given for COVID itself. It's given for the possible bacterial infection that you would get after having COVID. So those are just kind of mitigation. They're not even really treatment.
Yeah, and like really the only like in addition to like remdesivir, which has its uses and limits, but like even Paxlovid, it's nice. Like it can reduce symptoms, reduce complications, like I'm saying there. But Paxlovid has so many side effects that, like, if you read through when you actually can use Paxlovid, not many people can actually get it. Because if you have like liver disease, if you've got certain types of lung disease, like there's a laundry list of conditions that you should not, that would prevent you from taking Paxlovid. So like a lot of the options we have for COVID are just not great options. It is supportive care, basically. I mean, for the most part, how you're going to handle any viral infection, like it's supportive care. You're going to make sure that they're breathing. You're going to make sure that they're hydrated. You're going to make sure that they're peeing. Like it's going to be keep them alive until they get better. And that's effectively what hospitalization was doing for people with COVID. It's what you're going to do at home. It's just varying degrees of how severe, like how much do we need to step in for you? And so, yeah, really your only option, or at least like your only good option, is to get vaccinated and to have proper hygiene, like social distance, when you're symptomatic or if you're having an exposure, etc. Like those recommendations are still in place, even though we're like out of the pandemic. This disease is still out there. It's kind of less severe now for a lot of people, just because it's not going through the public at a like terrifying rate right now. But still, the same precautions exist. The same like preventative measures exist. All of that still exists.
It's their mitigation. It's mitigating bad things that have already happened.
Exactly.
So this is a case where skepticism needs to come into play, and we can't give a good answer, except that the vaccine has been shown to be effective. And then if you don't want that, then you need to take steps for yourself and social distance, wear a mask, don't go out in public. Those are things that we have data to demonstrate that they work. As much as I'd love to say that we have something down the pipeline to be a prophylaxis for people who don't want the vaccine,
we don't.
I don't know, and none of us know.
We don't have that.
Yeah. And I think that,
and we won't have that.
I think that's a really, really good place for us to kind of, just like with the other callers, just kind of put it on pause, Moonstruck. Am I reading this right, by the way? Are you giving us a call from France? Are you hanging out to keep my composure and look like I...
Yeah, but I now I'm kind of interested in the yokai thing.
Hey, that's okay. You're a wealth of knowledge.
I want to see if
how
there's
is
another
this
call
possible?
on this.
What do you do with your time?
I study.
Oh,
was
that
trivia
was
champion
too real
for a
just
little
then.
while.
Interesting stuff
100%, and I always use year now.
with student Dr. Ben and Secular Rarity. How are you? You do some things
that.
too. Isn't there like a trivia thing that you do every so often? What's up with
Stop
this?
I
chilling
do.
and just
I
get
have
to the next
trivia
call.
night
I want to
every
watch the next
Friday
call
at 9 p.m. Eastern time on my Twitch, Student Dr. Ben. And the best part is that trivia night is for everybody. Everybody who shows up gets to participate. And it's not all science.
It's still true.
It's every random
It's still
topic under the sun that you can think of. And it's a great time. And
Correction though, I don't have the bandwidth to write trivia every week. So we've been playing more of a like a music trivia game, or we've been playing Jackbox. I do need to bring back the game, kind of a trivia game, Beer or Band. That was one of my favorite games, where I give you a title and you have to tell me if it is the name of a beer or a name of a band. There's also the variation of that game called Beer, Band, or Bud, and that is also a fun one that we might be playing maybe next Friday. We'll play that. But yeah, thank you for shilling for me. Old me, young me.
we can hang out. SR was trivia champion for a little while.
I was. I don't like to brag about it, but I did specifically mention that, hoping that Ben would give me an opportunity to.
There you go.
But we've got
All right, next
one more call. I think this person has hung out with us before. Trisha, you are on with Student Dr. Ben and Secular Rarity. How are you?
Hi. How are you?
Good, good. What do you got for us today?
I feel
It
bad,
sounds
but
like some.
I feel bad, but it sounded like she just said that. I know she probably said hi, but it sounded kind of like SRS, how are you? And it sounded like she said, I'm high. And you know what? A lot of people are. You do you, but I'm not sure that's what she said, but it did kind of sound like that. Anyway.
Some interesting stuff, maybe some aliens.
Yeah. It's like overwhelming because I've been going through this probably about a year now, actually, year to date. And I have talked to several people like out there. I'm not going to mention names of people that have documentaries, people that are very big with MUFON and on Discovery Channel. And I know 1,000%, and I always use that because I am that confident. This is real. And
all right, so we're 1,000% confident that this is real. Ready for the claim.
I don't know. Well, I kind of do know why I'm chosen, but for some reason I'm chosen, and something very big is happening, and it's happening here.
I forgot about this call. Yeah, she probably is high. That probably explains it.
And I don't mean just physically where I live. It's on Earth, and it is definitely happening where I live. I just have so much. I have so much.
Yeah, could we
I am recording a lot.
Yeah, could we just
This episode was a lot of awesome calls. Like I would do so many things to do this type of show again with this many callers about like paranormal stuff. I love these calls. This is hilarious. I love it.
just kind of just real quick right there? It sounds like there's something super big and super interesting that Ben and I would very much want to know about. And what is that? What is that thing that's coming up?
Okay, well, there are aliens here. They are creating hybrids, which basically taking whatever they're taking from us. I guess it was their DNA, mixing it with theirs. I have videos to prove this. What they're doing to us with the people that I live with, actually sleeping. Okay, first, I don't want to jump all over the place, but I'm going to say there was an episode on Ancient Aliens in 2014. I think it was called Alien Breeders. This guy described this lady that was above him in bed, and there was an alien on the side of him, on the foot of him. She had blonde hair, very milky skin, narrow chin, pointy nose. I have her on my video. Okay, it is real. Everything that they describe aliens to look like, they look like. I think they can change the way they look depending on what they're in. They could move in and out of any object or being, but they need something to connect to it, like kind of like a conduit would be.
She has videos. Miranda, I want to know what these videos are because I want to react to these. I'm so excited. I need to talk to Bree about doing an episode on alien healing. I'm sure there's something we can find about that.
Like there has to be something connected for them to move through it. They have these white balls of light that they
Can I
come
pause you
out of
just
their mouth.
Can I pause you just a moment here, Trisha?
Yeah.
Because we've got a lot already for sure. But I'm gonna reach out. I'm gonna reach out behind the scenes. I think our wonderful producer Ethan said there were some photos that we had that we could show. I don't know if maybe there we go.
That's nothing. That's nothing. I sent them a few, but not even the best ones. They're
Okay.
Screenshots from my videos.
Okay, and we're just kind of, I don't know if you're also checking out the live stream as well, but we're just kind of flashing
No,
those up on
I'm not.
screen at the
But
moment.
I could watch
So
your
Ben
video.
and I are kind of
Oh.
going through them just a little bit here.
Okay, they told me not to do that anyway. That was one of the rules.
So
Not to watch the YouTube video, you know.
yeah, no, I mean they were
Yeah.
right. You should always listen to the call screeners. But it sounded like you said you were chosen to maybe like ward this off, this kind of hybridization and so forth. Is that am I right?
They know that I see them. I actually physically touch them. They're not visible to every human eye. They are some kind of extra interdimensional, whatever you call it, but they are physical beings. I feel them moving. I feel them touching me. When they touch my hand, it cramps up. It turns like bright reddish purple in all kinds of ways. I could never even bend my hand. They can do anything they want, but
This is the kind of call it's like very hard to engage with because it's just, well, number one, it's just really funny to hear them go on and on about this. Like I don't even need to do much reacting to it. Just revisiting this call in general is just very funny. But yeah, it's when you get a caller like this and you want to ask questions, you want to be gentle, but still kind of get to the root of the logical issue without stepping into sensitive areas or without, like opening a can of worms about how reasonable are these viewpoints. It's just when it gets blurry between like what is a religious belief and what is a hallucination, or like what is like somebody's perceived experience that is like not based in reality, like if there is some kind of dissociation, this is where it gets a little bit fuzzy. So I tend to just kind of sit back and like let them talk a bit more. But this is pretty great.
they need something from us. They're very respectful.
Trisha, can I go back
There's
to
just so much like
Trisha? Can I go
Yes,
back to
yes.
my question, because I think this is really interesting. It sounds like you're saying
Yeah.
we're right now.
Oh, I'm
then-
chosen. Why am I chosen?
Yep. Why are you chosen? Because it sounds like that's a big deal, and I'm
Okay.
wondering why you.
Right. I asked them that, and the first time I asked them, and they don't communicate like us, so it's telepathically, but like my head will start clicking, my neck will go down, and I'll hear what they're telling me. Also, if I'm recording, there's a clicking noise. But they told me my heart. Okay, that was the first thing. That in my opinion, okay, my heart was like, do you want to take my heart? No. They are very, very interested in human emotion. I have a very big heart. I'm a very good person. I've been through a lot, broken, there's just, I have a story. But at the end of the day, my heart is still beating and golden no matter what I've been through. At first I'm like, why do you want to be more human? They don't feel like us. They don't have feelings like us. They don't have that, but they want to experience it. Our sexuality, our emotions, they are very interested in it. So
Okay.
that's the biggest thing.
Hang on just a second. I think
They
Ben
tell me all
might,
these codes.
I think Ben
Yeah, go
might
ahead.
have some things he wants to question about.
Well, I want to get to some things here because, like, of course, I believe that you had these experiences and that they mean a lot to you. As you mentioned,
I'm gonna start tap dancing around this person, trying to protect them. I probably would not be as nice now.
these are experiences that don't happen to everybody. So if it's something that's isolated to you and a select few other people, I want to kind of ask you some questions and see what we could learn about it. Because knowing that I couldn't have that experience. So what
You
kind
could,
of
yes,
things?
I had to ask me.
Yeah. So when you have these experiences,
Sonia, yes, absolutely. Absolutely this happens.
Let's pick a specific one. Your first time experiencing this. What were you doing at the time?
Yes. My boyfriend at the time, well, he's still my boyfriend, but he said, "Oh my God, come outside, look at this." There was something in the sky that it was not a drone or a planet. It was moving so weird, and it was just something that was very weird that it frightened me. Actually, I ran in the house when I was recording it. When I played back the video, I was like, "Whoa!" I saw so much more to it. They do have vessels that they travel in, and I have many videos of UFOs, many.
Okay, so this,
and
so let's,
you actually see them getting off of them.
yeah, so let's
But-
address, like, I kind of want to create a story here so that we can understand what you were
Okay.
experiencing at the and I'm picking just this one example just so we don't get bogged down with too many details going back and forth between stories, because I really want to understand the context of how this happened. So you, your boyfriend at the time told you there's something in the sky, you go outside, and were you filming it that first time?
Yes.
Okay, so you were filming it the first time. What kind of camera were you using to film it?
And my crappy phone, but like it was
Okay.
a phone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Were you, as you said afterwards, you kind of ran back in the house. Was your heart kind of going really fast? What kind of things was your body doing at that time?
Well, it was not necessarily. I was just it startled me because I was like, because when you think about an alien coming down and like it's kind of scary, you know. So I that's what I thought. I'm like, oh my God, I ran in the house, which is very similar to the experience the first time I saw them without using the camera, and I saw them with my own eyes. I have that recorded, and that's a very big recording because you see everything, the way they come through, the way they walk, the way they look. And then as it got close to me, I started saying, no, I'm not ready for this. I'm not ready for this. I ran in the house, but my phone was still recording. My phone recorded 21 minutes, but only 10 minutes and change was on the video. Everything else was blacked out. They followed me into the house, and you actually see it
Okay.
happening as I'm walking in the house. Mhm.
Okay, so you got the video. Do you have video evidence of them following
Yes,
you?
I do.
What they look like?
Yes. Yes, I sent Ethan one video. I don't know if he got it, or I can't even tell if it went through. But yeah, and that's another thing. I have like 40,000 pictures and 1,500 videos, and trying to figure out how to send them when the files are too large, and I'm just figuring it out. Organizing them is an issue because it's every day. I accumulate them every. I can tell them come here right now. They will come and do whatever I ask them to do.
Trisha. I'm not ready to see you. Not now. Not like this.
Oh, that was the video.
Sorry.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's it. Uh-huh. Yeah, if you play that slow, you'll see some shit. Let me tell you. You'll
Okay.
see, I open the door slowly, and this thing comes out. It's weird.
Okay, it looks what that video looks like. And it does not match the story that she's saying, but it looked like she was holding a flashlight at a window or at some kind of glass. And because there was like the way the light was kind of expanding out from that main point, and the way like it moved a couple points. Yeah, I see someone pointing a flashlight at the camera. It's like it's either there's a light coming at the camera, like a flashlight, or it's a flashlight going at a window and like reflecting off of the window. Like that's what I see. And I don't know if this person, like if this person makes videos about aliens or something, like I don't know if this person is faking these videos and trying to get, followers, trying to get traction for whatever she's trying to do. I can't make that determination necessarily, but what that video showed does not line up with what she's saying. Yeah, in this point here, I can't help but think that when people make claims of being chosen or special, that they're lacking in social validation. It makes me sad. Yeah, I could see this being where she made that video and then wanted social media traction, and so made this story, and then people believe her about it. That's something that I could see being realistic. Like if you're going to be confident in something, which is a more likely scenario, is it more likely that there is an extraterrestrial being that like gave you supernatural powers and made you a chosen one, or is it more likely that you faked this light thing and posted it on the internet and then claimed all this stuff? One of these is clearly more likely, even if that's not exactly what happened. We have other explanations to explain this. We have other possibilities.
Makes a weird noise out of this. I don't even know what it is. And then
Trisha,
boom.
Trisha,
yeah.
we're close to the end of our show, and we really appreciate you hanging out with us. Before
I
we
appreciate you guys taking the
yeah,
time.
and you've
Yeah.
called in before,
He's just done
and
with this.
call in more. I don't know if you know this or not, but Ethan loves hearing about aliens. So if
SR is just like, I'm done. I don't want to like call out somebody's delusion or hallucination. So I'm going to gently stop responding to this and turn and punt it off to somebody else. I'm gonna punt this call over to Ethan. That's hilarious. Yeah, I think we're done with this one, and that's kind of the end of that show. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching those with me. I did just message Richard asking him to react to our old episode together on the perspective, because that would be really funny. I think it was with him that we had the Bigfoot call. I really think it was. So I'll have to go back and actually see what the calls are, or maybe I'll just like maybe I will just let us be surprised by it. But thank you everybody for helping me get to 3,000 subs. I know it's been slow because I haven't been streaming a whole lot, but we will be back. I believe probably next Saturday we'll be back with Medical Myths. And I hope that we kind of continue this trajectory together. There's going to be more and more content where this came from. And I also still have some more of the celery juice to drink. So I guess I need to do this before we go. So yeah. And, oh, this is something coming up, but it's not actually out yet. But I am working on a brand new show that will be on another channel because I don't want to lump it in with the science content here. But if any of you have seen Drunk History, where you have people getting absolutely wasted and then telling history stories, well, I'm starting a thing very similar to that, but with religious stories. So it'll be Bible stories, Quran stories, Book of Mormon stories. It'll be people in our community getting inebriated and telling religious stories, and it should hopefully be really funny. But I'm looking for a time to get people on to do that. But super excited about that. Again, if you all want to come hang out on Twitch, we do trivia nights or game nights over on Twitch every Friday night at 9:30 p.m. Eastern time. I will put my link in the side chat, so please go over and follow. Join us for games. There also, if I know you well enough, or if you have a channel, you're there's a good chance that you'd be welcome on the panel to come play games with us. It's a lot of fun. It's kind of chaotic, but yeah, Apostate Sisters, definitely. You are your people. I was hoping to direct with that. So come join us over there. Anything else going on? I am on Talk Heathen tomorrow. So join us for Talk Heathen. It'll be a great time. But I'm going to chug this. This is so much nastier the longer I let it sit. So gross. But yeah, I guess I'll just do this. And yes, Apostate Sisters, yes. That's another thing that people could be on. Like it's all kinds of mental impairment that is induced by substances. But legal substances only will be done for that show. But it will be super duper fun. So I hope to see you all there for that. And I'll get us some more medical myths content. I will get us some more reaction content. I also have been doing on Twitch, some more gaming streaming, playing Ships at Sea. So yeah, but yeah, if it's legal where you're at, awesome. Then totally acceptable. But I just can't endorse doing illegal substances on YouTube. But I still got more of this to do. All of it like accumulated to the bottom. That is so gross. All right. Well, at least I have some vitamins and electrolytes now. But thank you so much, everybody. And we will see you next week. Bye, everyone.